Good morning, guys. Okay, so in our last class, we have seen how to make icons, okay, for your Android app, and then I have shown you how to load them to your Flutter application and see that the icon is actually changing. Okay, so today we are going to look at how to release our apps. So, like when it comes to releasing your apps, right? You are not bothered about that during the initial stages of development. Okay, so when you are actually developing your app, we are not actually bothered about releasing the app. So when it comes to releasing your app, right, we are not bothered about it during the initial stages of development. Okay, so the reason is simple. Okay, like whatever probably works on your device will work on the will work when you have released it. Okay, apart from granting some permissions that were required for your app to run. Okay, so like when you are doing the development work, you are actually debugging your app. Okay, but when you actually release that app to a device, it if you recall, when an app is installed on a mobile application like mobile phone, when your app is installed on a mobile phone, it will ask for, it requires internet permission, it requires bluetooth permission, it requires calls history permission. Okay, so this kind of things will pop up. So when you are actually releasing your app, you have to follow some of the steps, okay, related to these things. Okay, when you are actually debugging your app, all these permissions will be there by default in your app. Okay, so when you are, for example, if you are making a call, if you're trying to make a call, when you are debugging, it will work fine. But when you actually release it and try to make a call, you need to have some permissions to make a call. In the same way, if your mobile app is using some internet, when you are debugging your app, it will not ask for internet permissions. But when you are actually releasing it, okay, when it is downloaded from the Play Store, it needs that permissions. Okay, it needs that internet permissions to work. Okay, without internet permissions it will not work. So when you are actually releasing your app, there are some steps which you need to perform. Okay, it's not like you developed your app and then you are like copy pasting something in some portal and it will work just fine. It's not like that. Okay, once the development is done and you are satisfied with your product, and then you have decided to go ahead with the release, then you will start working on this release stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you some documentation which is available in uh, Flutter website. Okay, I'm not actually going to go through all the steps, but I will just show you where you can actually find all the steps, and then when you are really satisfied with your product, you can just go through it and then get it released. Okay, it's like when it comes to releasing your apps, it's not like something you learn. Okay, learn, and whenever there is a release of app, you'll just go there and just do it. Okay, it doesn't work like that, because you will be developing your app like for 3 months. One day you will spend for release, 1 or 2 days you will spend for release. Again, if you're going for next app, again you will spend for 3 months, and then you'll work on releasing apps for 1 or 2 days. Okay, that is when you will actually go through some documentation and try to solve each and every problem that you are facing, and then you will actually upload those apps. Okay, you will definitely face multiple issues when you are trying to upload these files. Okay, you will definitely face, but the thing is, you have to correctly follow this documentation in order to get your app rolled out. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just go to flutter.dev website. Okay, so here, docs, And then if I go here, so development, testing and debugging, so we have this deployment option. I just go here and you can see that there is an option for build and release an Android app. Okay, so you have to open this. So this has got steps that were required for you to follow when you are about to release your apps. Okay, so all the steps are detailed here. Okay, so you just have to follow this document in order to get this released. Okay, apart from this, like let me see, like I said about permissions, right? Whether it is included here or not. Okay. So here they have discussed about adding launcher icon also, but we have seen a different approach. Okay, and like there is some package for changing icons also. Like you can check it out. Like if you want to try this, you can try it. Okay, but in our session we have shown like how to create a icon altogether and change it using Android Studio. Okay, we didn't use this package. Okay, so let me open a project and see if I can find it there. So usually in these Android manifest files, right, we will add those permissions. Okay, let me check. So if you see debug, right, it by default has got internet permissions. Okay, so I think probably this is the one where you need to add. So use internet permissions. Okay, so you just have to add some internet permissions over it. Like what it is saying, IO Flutter. Okay, so somewhere you need to add. Okay, probably in this file only you need to add. But my advice is like, since you are not releasing any app now, and even I'm not releasing any app right now, right? So you just Google it and try to find out where to add it, and then just add it. Okay, so it's important to understand that whatever app you have developed will work fine on your emulator or the device you have connected, but it will not work fine after it is released because it needs some extra permissions. Okay, so those permissions has to be added somewhere in the manifest files. Okay, so probably this is the file. I'm not sure. Like actually I can check it. Give me a second. So let me go to my GitHub profile. So I have an app which is actually released into the store. Okay. See here I have added this permissions to internet. Okay, because it tries to hit the internet for fetching some data. That's why I have added this line. If you go through this manifest file, it doesn't have it. Okay, yeah, it doesn't have it, so I have added it over here. Okay, so these kind of amendments needs to be done to your like when you are about to release your app. Okay, and this documentation like gives you all the information about how to uh, how to release your app to your Android app. Apart from this, one thing is, let me give, okay, so apart from the changes you do to your app, okay, you need to publish that app somewhere in the internet, right? So that Google, it will be listed in Google Play, right? So For that, we have something called Google Play Console. You need to go there, and then you need to do a sign up. Okay. So I just signed in with some account. Okay. Let me authorize it. When you are signing up for the first time, it will ask you to pay some fees actually. Okay, so this registration fee, you need to pay this $25 fee. Okay, so USD to INR, so 25 US dollars is approximately, okay, approximately 1900. Okay, it may, like, when you are actually trying to purchase it, might go to till 2000 also. Okay, so you just have to agree everything and then continue to payment. Okay, so the catch here is, even though you are paying this $25 registration fee, it is a one time payment. Okay, it is a one time payment that you can have this account for lifetime probably. Okay, I'm exactly not sure about it, but like I paid like 2 3 4 years back, and then I still have that account. It is working fine. So you just have to give this registration fee and then own an account. Okay, so, like, and then you have to complete your details. I'm not providing anything now. I'll just show you the interface, like how it will look like when you actually log in. Okay, so I'm just closing this and just going here. So this is the portal. Like, once you register yourself, this is where you actually load your apps. Okay, so like all you need to do is, you need to create a app, click on create app, and follow this step by step. Okay, follow this step by step. Okay, and then you need to ensure that, like, your apps is, like, you are generating the APK files. Okay, so let me share about APK files. Okay, so whenever you, like, run your app, right, what will happen is, it will create some files. Okay, it will create some files which are having .apk extension. Okay, so if you see here, there are some APK files. Okay, debug APK and app APK. Okay, so debug APK is something that is generated when you are debugging your app. Okay, the actual APK can be generated using this procedure. Okay, so if you are seeing something like app.apk, but you haven't followed this procedure, okay, don't use that APK, because when you follow this procedure, what will happen is, Google will try to minimize the final app size. Okay, it will try to optimize it automatically. Okay, by following this procedure, you will actually optimize your file. Okay, so they have some commands. Okay, special commands, you just have to prepare them and run it. Google will optimize these files and then create a bundle for you. Okay, so, like, that bundle in turn will have some APK files. Okay, you will have separate APK files. At the same time, there will be a bundle. Okay, this bundle is especially because when you release your app should be loading on multiple devices, right? So multiple architectures will be there. Okay, like, when these APK files are generated, right? Sorry again. So this app bundle will have multiple APK files which will be targeted through different kinds of architectures. Okay, like when it comes to Android hardware, we'll have different kinds of architecture, right? So different kinds of architecture might need different kinds of APK files. That's why by following this procedure, you will actually generate a bundle which will have multiple APK files, and then those files have to be uploaded to the Play Store, from where Google will review it within like maybe 3 to 4 days, and then they will actually approve the final app. Okay. And one thing that is important is, like when you're following this procedure, they will say something about signing. Okay. When you're signing the app, they ask you to give some like password. Okay. Password and some information. You need to ensure that that information is actually like saved carefully. Okay. And not available for everyone. Okay. Not available for everyone. You need to store it privately, just to ensure that nobody will overwrite these files or steal some information. Okay. So you need to store that information like safely, and then you have to follow this procedure to get your app released. Okay. So that's it about releasing your app to the Android store. Okay. When it comes to iOS store or something like that, you can actually go to this documentation. I have never tried iOS, like anything from iOS point of view, because I don't own a MacBook. Okay. So we'll end this topic here and we'll go to the next topic. Okay. So next topic is like working as a team, right? So knowing Git. So about this, okay. See, like whenever you are developing some applications for an organization, or you decided to work for a as a team. Okay, you decided to work as a team. 3 to 4 members of yours decided to work as a team. Okay, how we used to work is, we'll actually put some code somewhere, and everybody will download that code, and then they will make their changes, and then they will upload it back. Okay. So there are some source version controls which will actually provide some feedback. When somebody uploads some file, it will say that, okay, this file is already modified by so and so guy, do you want to override? Okay, this is the version of this file which is different from this, do you want to override? Okay. So these kind of things will be actually provided using this source version called control softwares. Okay. And Git is like a latest version of this source version control systems. Okay. Git itself is a frame, like it is like a framework again. Okay. When you just go to Google and search Git, okay, not GitHub, okay, just Git, it will share you some link. Okay. This is the first link. So this is the main website for Git. Okay. So it says that Git is a free and open source distribution version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. Okay. So like actually when I mentioned Git here, you might be thinking that I might be speaking about GitHub. Okay. The catch here is, Git is different, GitHub is different. Okay. GitHub uses Git to function. Okay. Like GitHub, we have multiple options. Okay. We have something like Bitbucket. Okay. Which is also very popular. Okay. When you, like in most of the organization, Bitbucket is being used. Okay. Because GitHub was restricted to have private, like they have to pay money before, like I think, not exactly sure. Okay. But like GitHub is mostly used by communities. Okay. Like whenever you make some project at your home, we'll upload that into GitHub rather than Bitbucket. Okay. When it comes to organizations, like organizations use Bitbucket, but at the same time, many organizations use GitHub also. Okay. It doesn't mean that they are not using GitHub, but in my like as per my work experience, we always use Bitbucket in organization. Okay. When it comes to sharing something with the community, I always go with GitHub. based on the features. Okay, it all depends on the features. Okay, so when you are actually working with GitHub, right? Okay, so Git is the framework behind it. Okay, Git is the framework behind it. And when you want to work as a team, you use GitHub. Okay, so GitHub is so important to learn. Okay, like whenever you want to create some project, what you can do is you can just go here, and then you can, like, okay, you can just click here. Okay, new repository or new project. Okay, just go with new repository, and then fill this form. And then after that, what you have to do is your project will be listed over here. After that, what you can do is you can just go here and then download that code. Okay, so we have something called GitHub Desktop. Okay, GitHub Desktop. So you need to download this software as well, which will help you to manage files efficiently. Okay, all GitHub projects efficiently. Okay, if I open this GitHub Desktop, you can see that whatever projects I download using GitHub are available over here. Okay, for example, I was always sharing you code, right, through my Flutter examples. Okay, so this is the account, and you can see my project here. If I go here, you can see these are the files that were the changes I have made. Okay, and then I can use a summary and commit, and then there will be push button here. I just have to click it. Okay, I'm not actually going through like going through like I'm not actually going to share all this stuff. I will leave these things for you to figure out. Okay, because GitHub itself is a very much learning. Like altogether, you have to learn so many things in GitHub. But initial stage, in order to make it functional, initially very few steps are required. As I said, you have to create a project, download this locally, go to that folder, create a Flutter project, and then the changes will start appearing over here. And then you can give something over here and click commit. Okay, so that is something you can do it yourself. Okay, and then like whatever introduction that is appearing over here, right? That is from this readme.md file. Okay, it has got its own markup language. Okay, so you can just click edit here, and then try to edit something over here, will appear in the preview, and then you can actually save it. So like this, you can actually create your own projects in your accounts. Okay, so it's like why GitHub is more important is because when it comes to organizations, most of the organizations nowadays evaluate the profile based on the GitHub profiles. Okay, so if you are having a very good GitHub project, okay, for example, like this is having 100 stars, like I consider this self as a good project. Okay, but it's not properly organized. Okay, I need to organize it. I need to rework and get it more organized. Okay, but however, I like during initial stages I pushed code like this. Okay, later I am going to actually organize it, and then you can become contributors to some other projects also, and then you can share these links with in your resume. Okay, so that the companies will directly know what is your worth. Okay, they just by simply seeing this, companies will come to me and ask like, are you interested in working with us? Okay, this shows like who has pushed how much code. Okay, if I go here insights, contributors, let's see if it shows something. So here you can see that I have made 64 commits and this guy has made 14 commits. And if you are joining this project and if you are doing some 20 commits, it will show 20 commits. Okay, so whenever you are pushing code from here, it will actually show here. Okay, so it's very good to have a GitHub profile in these days, like in this pandemic time, right, where companies are finding it difficult to evaluate profiles without meeting someone. That is when this kind of GitHub profiles will actually help you. Okay, LinkedIn profile will not help you, Facebook profile will not help you. Okay, but having a good GitHub profile can actually land yourself in a very good job. Not only job, okay, when it comes to startups, they actually offer you some stake. For example, if you are at like if you are like 22 years old, right? Like you can actually risk something here, okay, rather than joining jobs in companies like Wipro, TCS, okay, where you will be developing stuff for them. What you can do is you can actually join some startup, okay, and get a stake from the company itself, okay. So uh, for getting opportunities from startups, GitHub is something you need to have, okay. So, and always remember that this thing, like when you are creating some project in GitHub, it doesn't have to be a very complicated project or very big project. Small projects can be added here. For example, a prime number example, okay, or even odd example, or button click example, small animation example, okay. So, and then you continuously keep adding it and share that with the community, and then people will actually search something in Google and they will land themselves here, and they will give a star here. As stars increases and folks increases, that will actually give more more mileage to your project, okay. Then at some point in future, what you can do is you can actually merge all these things. That's what I'm going to do in future, okay. I'm going to all merge all these projects, okay. That's why, if you remember, I asked some of you guys, like, if you can actually help me in merging up the stuff, okay. So I think that's it about GitHub, okay. So GitHub itself is a lot of learning, okay. You have to follow some YouTube videos uh, for getting it up and running. It will take one day, okay. For mastering it, like, you really don't have to master it unless until you are taking up some job, okay. If, like, when you take up some job, you definitely have to learn more commands in GitHub. There is nothing like mastering it, okay. uh, those whoever probably hosting all the files somewhere, okay. For example, in our case, GitHub, right? GitHub guys have to master git, but not us. For us, if we know some how to, like, there are some, like, let me share some keywords: push, pull, commit, okay, merge, branches, okay. So they, like, here we got a word fork, right? So these are the kind of terminologies that are used in Git, and you have to start learning by watching YouTube videos or something like that. And another important thing what I wanted to share, okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to recall. Yeah, so learning GitHub will actually help you to contribute to open source, okay. For example, if you take Flutter, so Flutter framework itself is available, right? Okay, let me not here all GitHub. So here we have got Flutter framework, right? Like, during our sessions, I have actually shared you how you can make modifications to the SDK, right? So you can actually go through all this documentation, and then you can actually contribute to Flutter SDK. And here you can see there are 697 contributors, and if you are able to get your name over here, then definitely you are going to get a very good job for sure, okay. And it will give you a very great mileage to your profile, okay. Being a contributor to Flutter SDK itself will be a very great achievement, okay, because it has this itself is like a small job you can do, okay. You have to go through all the contributor guide, and then you have to understand how to file an issue and then do it, okay. So, like, as I said, don't ignore Git, okay, GitHub, Git, or whatever. Uh, like, it will be a great thing to learn, okay. And you can see lot of projects, okay, lot of projects, and if you are capable, you can actually make yourself uh, to become a contributor to open source. But like, it's all takes some time, okay. If you are learning Git today, it will take maybe a week or 2 weeks to process the whole information, and you will strike up with some idea, and then you'll start using that idea, okay. So I think that's all about Git. And the last topic, right? So last topic is sharing the resources to take your Flutter learning further. Okay, I will share you like, so when it comes to resources, okay, Flutter, like, I always depend, like I always try to go with the actual documentation rather than reading something from the internet. Okay. So why the reason is because once if I get to a point where I understand the documentation, then everything will be easy. Okay. Nowadays, each and every company is giving very good documentation. Okay. For example, if you take Oracle, Oracle has got a good documentation. Okay. But if you're new to Oracle, you might not understand that, okay, this is easy documentation. But as you spend some time, you will find it's a very good documentation. Okay, Microsoft SQL Server got good documentation, ASP.NET, everything has got very good documentation. And companies are not depending on someone to write articles for them. Okay, they are creating some wonderful documentations for themselves and making them available for the community. Okay, but still, companies, these companies, like whoever are like, for example, Flutter is owned by Google, right? If somebody is contributing to the community, they often reward. Okay, like, I know reward programs from Microsoft. I'm not exactly sure about Google, but I have seen people getting some sorts of rewards. Okay, rewards in sense they will give some sorts of titles to people. Okay, like Google developer expert, okay, or Microsoft MVP. Okay, these kind of awards will be given to the people. And when you are really young, like, it's a great thing to do. Okay, go to the community, support them, like help people to clarify the questions. Okay, go to Stack Overflow, try to answer people. Like when somebody asks some question, try to solve that problem yourself and provide a solution. Okay, likewise you will actually learn. See, just remember, when you are doing a job, whatever you learn for 10 years by sitting at home without a job, you can learn them in 1 year. Okay, forget about the work experience. Okay, but you can learn lot of stuff when you are actually doing learning at home. You can learn, leave, go to next topic, learn, leave, go to next topic. Okay, you can actually do that. When you're actually doing job, you will learn, use that for 100 times. You will learn something, use that for 100 times, 100 tasks will come for that. Okay, you have to do each and every task. Okay, for first five tasks it will be interesting, for next 95 tasks it will be very boring, and you will stop learning. When you are doing job, you will stop learning. When you don't have job, you will actually learn. That is why you have to go to the community, help people, and then you have to uh, understand. Okay, you have to keep reading. When you don't have job, you have to keep doing all this stuff. Don't think like, when once I get job I will start reading. Okay, it's not, it doesn't work like that. When you are at home, tell yourself, like, for these 3 months let me do full reading. Okay, and then for next 3 months, uh, do full practicals, and then next 3 months full reading. Okay, you can plan something like that, do it. Okay, so about the sources, right? So here you can see that there is something sample tutorials, and you can see code labs available over here. Okay, so here there are number of code labs available over here, where they will give some step by step in, like, instructions. Okay, so, like, this has got some good Firebase example which you can try. And then let me see what is this tutorials. So, okay, like, so in this tutorials, animations in Flutter is something which is really great. Okay, so this is something you can check. Okay, so when it comes to deployment, I already shared, you can go through this. Okay, if you want to write tests, okay, this is something which you can check. Okay, and so, like, so everything is literally there here. Okay, so this is something what you can check. See this gallery, right? These two things. Okay, sample apps in GitHub. Okay, so they have got some Flutter gallery also, where I think you can actually run this app. Okay, like, from from, like, within SDK itself, there is something like Flutter gallery. You can go there and try to check some stuff. If you go to this gallery.flutter dev, you can see some options here. Okay, so banner, okay, banner looks like this. Okay, uh, cards look like this. Okay, cards look like this. So there is number of stuff. I think you can just go to cards, and then you can get the code from here, demo code. Okay, so the code itself is shown here. So lots of code, lots of stuff. So when you want to create a good user interface, you can just go here and try to get some ideas from here and then start using it. Okay, see, there are number of samples also. Okay, I think this is so much of stuff, right? Like going through all this stuff itself is very difficult. So my advice is, don't try to overwhelm yourself with so much of documentation, readings, like so much of content. Okay, don't try to make a copy of all this stuff, store it locally. So instead of that, whenever you need this stuff, just go Google it, get to try to get yourself where you want, and then read the article, use that in your project and leave it. Okay, so that's what I do. Like I don't like whenever, like when I was young, right, I used to feel like, okay, this content is very good. Then what I will do is I'll create some folder, copy everything and maintain locally. And literally used to waste my time. Okay, nowadays I'm not doing it. Okay, like what I will usually do is, like I will always think like how I can reach here. Okay, so I can go to flutter.io, I can go here and then do it. Or I will try to remember some keywords. Okay, gallery flutter. I'll just go to Google, type gallery flutter and then try to reach it here. Okay, so the reason why I do it like that is, when you search something, you will land yourself in some new article and you will always read something new probably. Okay, but out of 10 articles which you open, probably 9 articles will be same, one article might have a new content. Okay, so that's how I do it. Okay, and like that's why, like, maybe you too can follow it. Okay, so that's about Flutter. Okay, like, one second, I want to show you where you can find state management also. So here you can see development, data, state management. Okay, so all this data backend management deals about state management. Okay, so if you go to options, it will give you a lot of articles about okay, it's taking time to load. So here they have described a provider, set state, inherited widgets, okay, block. Okay, so there are a lot of other things. Okay, yep. I think that's it, guys. Okay, so I think this brings us to the end of our course. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. Okay, so actually in today's class, uh, like I just shared you like information itself. Like I haven't done any demos. I understand that, but this is something you can always achieve by yourself. Okay, so releasing your app, like, because you're not bothered about releasing your app uh, till the development is done, right? So the reason why I mean that is, like let's not bother about how to release this stuff. Always when you are developing some website or when some app, don't bother about releasing it. Okay, first of all, develop it. Okay, like develop it, try to sort out all the problems you faced while developing it, and then once you have developed it, when you fail to release, right, so like be prepared to scrap it also. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, it's very important to scrap the projects. When you join some organizations, you will spend some very good amount of time, very good efforts. Okay, and at the end, due to some small issues like unable to have required permissions or something like that, you may need to scrap your projects. But the catch here is, you have spent so much of time developing it, right, and you have written so much of code. All that code still be with you, and then the app is not released. Tomorrow you need a different app, you can copy paste code from this app. Okay, and then use it. And like, because you spent so much of time developing your initial app, and then it didn't get released, in your future app you can copy paste this code to that app, and then you can develop your app within days. Okay, That's how it works. Like, what I mean is, if your app is getting scrapped, don't bother about it. You did your efforts, you carry your learning. Okay, forget about your app getting released, getting successful. Okay, you have learned something that you will take it forward and use that in your new apps. Okay, that is the reason why I say that don't bother about releasing the stuff. Okay, like, forget about it. Develop your app, learn the stuff as much as possible, keep that excitement all together. Okay, forget about releasing. Like, make your mind that whether it is released it or not, I don't care. Okay, you need to take that learning forward. Okay, once you have that learning, you can use that in your new apps and then actually get it released and get it successful. Okay. Yep. And then Git also, as I said, altogether it's a different topic, where you have to learn by yourself, but working as a team will actually help. And team doesn't have to be more like, always be like 3 or 4 members. It can be 2 members also. Okay, or if you don't have team itself, you create a project, load that to Git. Tomorrow you will get a team member. Okay, and then I shared the resources for learning, taking your Flutter learning further. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's it for this course. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, if you are having any queries, contact me offline or through comments. Okay, thank you, guys.